What's up, guys? My name's Mike. This is All Things Fish, and as usual, thanks for tuning in. As you can see, the old fish room's in a little bit of disarray. Did recently go to the Omaha swap meet, and you can see what I picked up in that video up there. So things have been a little bit busy. Time to get back to some water changes, moving some water up there, get those cleaned up. Things are almost where they belong for the time being, but we'll get to it. Hope you guys are having a great day and things are going well. Hope swap season is treating you great. And if you watched my recent video, I did an unboxing of some L124s. See that up there in that link, and super awesome Plecos, and I'm not sure I'm ready for as big as they get. But today we're going to see if we can at least find a temporary solution for that, and here's how. So as per the last video where I did the unboxing of these beautiful fish, I did get 20 L124s, previously called the Pleco. Now I believe it's called peckoltia sabaji. Correct me if I'm wrong on the pronunciation. I do apologize, but Latin is not my strong suit, nor are people's last names. However, I have 20 fish that could grow from 6 to 9 inches, maybe even a little bit bigger, and we plan on breeding them. So today we're going to talk about setting up a breeding tank to breed some peckoltia plecos. Now this is a 75-gallon tank. Sits on the bottom of the rack in the fish room here, and picked it up used. Got a good deal on it, so it's not the cleanest thing. But this is a working fish room where we plan on breeding and raising some quality fish. So if the tank's not pretty, it's not that big of a deal. So step one of setting up a breeding tank for plecos, gotta have the glass, right? And you can see I've got this fancy wooden stand with some modifications to make everything work. Don't worry, she's been stress tested and she'll hold up to the extra weight of one more 75 just fine. Now for substrate, I plan on using 100 pounds of pool filter sand. Now I picked this up at a local hardware store. I think it was $7 or $8 a bag. So for maybe 15-20 bucks, we'll fill the bottom of that with some pool filter sand. Eventually I'll get a couple big sponge filters in here, but for right now I've been running this AquaClear 110 hang on back on my 75-gallon pseudocrinolobris SP dark ventral tank. See a beautiful male there coming out to see you. Don't mind the reflections, like I said. Fish room's a little bit in a disarray. So we've got our tank, got our substrate, and we have filtration. For lighting, it's just a single LED strip. Generally speaking, they don't really mind light too much, so dim to medium lighting should work just fine for them. Now as far as water goes, I do plan to use a mix of RODI, remineralized. Ideally I'm going to shoot for about 150 TDS, and we'll see how that goes. Now they do like a little bit warmer water, and the current temperature down here is roughly 73-74 degrees, so I may actually add a heater on an Inkbird controller specifically for this tank. So without further ado, let's throw some substrate in this bad boy and get moving. Like I said, for the substrate, basic pool filter sand. It's cheap, it's easy, it's effective, and if you want to get rid of it, you scoop it out and you're not really a whole lot of money. So it's a great solution. I know a lot of Pleco breeders, including myself, not that I've bred a ton, but I've bred a handful, that use pool filter sand just fine. As far as natural goes, generally speaking, they come from some faster moving rivers. So you may not see such a sandy or silty bed as opposed to a lot of rocks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 2 bags of pool filter sand. Again, 100 pounds should get us close. We don't need a real thick layer. Maybe if I get an inch on the bottom, I'll be happy. Then, of course, I'll add some caves. I'll add a variety of sizes and shapes, whether they're oval, D-shaped, small, large, just to give them something that eventually, as they grow into it, they'll find a nice place to call home. I use pool filter sand for a lot of my tanks. In fact, the vast majority of my tanks that aren't bare bottom use pool filter sand. You can use pool filter sand for a planted substrate. Just have to understand that it doesn't inherently carry any nutrients, and it does have some problems that are associated with it as far as using it in a planted tank. And for that reason, if you plan on planting a tank fairly heavily, I recommend an aqua soil, something like Amazonia or contra soil. However, this tank won't likely see very many plants, as larger plecos will probably just tear them up and move them around anyway. We'll go ahead and get started. As far as the skate goes, I'm not really worried about making any cool features to it because, once again, the plecos are going to rearrange it as they see necessary. So we'll just throw our 2 bags in, we'll level it out, and call it good. I did plan on using 100 pounds or 2 bags of the pool filter sand for this tank in order to achieve roughly an inch to maybe an inch and a half thick layer. However, after 1 bag, I think that will suffice, and I'll maybe use that second bag for other tanks that I'll set up for other reasons. 1 bag of sand is in the tank. Pardon the dirty glass, we'll get there eventually. But 1 bag of sand, about 50 pounds, looks like it should give us at least an inch to an inch and a half all the way across. And I think that'll do. As I said before, I'll save that other bag of sand for later, use that on some other tanks. Luckily, a bag of sand just doesn't go bad, and there's always a use for it. Substrate's looking good. We'll go ahead and fill her up with RO water, and then I'll remineralize that to about 150, maybe 200 TDS. Then we'll add our filter, and like I said earlier, we'll add a heater because down here on the floor, these tanks stay about 72 to 74, and I'm really shooting for a little bit warmer temperature, around 77, 78 degrees for these guys. Living in Iowa, I do have fairly hard, somewhat dirty water. TDS out of the tap is about 500 and occasionally gets up to 550, and seeing how these fish are from an Amazon basin, we'll like to keep that a little bit lower, again targeting 150 to 200 TDS. To do that, I'll start with RODI water. I have 2 55-gallon drums of RODI that I keep on hand because I do use a lot of it in the fish room. Simply have a pump, attach that to a hose, and then I made a nifty spray bar with a quick shut off so I can shut it off and hopefully not overfill tanks. So we'll get some water running. I know a lot of people like to rinse their sand before they put it in the tank. I don't know. It seems like a hassle to me and probably not worth it in the long run, in my opinion. So I'm going to throw the sand in dry, we're going to turn the RO on and fill this guy up. Tank's just about done filling up, and as you can see, I didn't rinse the sand, but I used fairly slow flow to fill this up without causing a huge ruckus. Now let's move that Aqua Clear 110 over here, and then additionally, for some extra flow and aeration, I will probably add a power head of some sort. I do plan to add that fairly low in the tank, ideally blowing across the front of the cage, just to increase the water flow there and help prevent any stagnant areas. Alright, well, here we are. I went with a 150 watt Eheim heater for now, and we'll see how that does. Obviously that is attached to an Inkbird like I mentioned, just for a little peace of mind for 30 bucks. It's super cheap insurance when you've got a lot of money worth of fish in there. For now, I've got one Aqua Clear 110 on there. I do plan to add another Aqua Clear 110 on the other side to increase surface vegetation, increase flow in the tank, and obviously that'll increase oxygen concentration within the tank itself. I threw a variety of sizes of caves in there for right now. I do plan on obviously getting some more, a couple different shapes, maybe some square caves and just add more so they have some more options. Threw a handful of pieces of driftwood in there for right now just to give them some cover and places to hide. And right now I'm gonna let this tank come up to temperature before I move our beautiful fish into their new home. Well, here we are. First few netted up out of the holding tank. Looking good despite being heckled for the last 5 minutes while I tried to catch them. But they're ready to go for the most part. Tank's ready. Fish are as ready as they're going to be. And unfortunately, short of feeding, this might be the last time we really get a good look at these guys for a while before they simply turn into animatronic tails. So take it in. I know I'm going to enjoy the view for a minute. May take a few pictures, a couple more videos just to get a good look at them. So after this, they may very well be hiding in those caves for just about the rest of their lives. But no use in sitting here wasting time. Let's get to business. They'll appreciate the new swimming space, and hopefully I get to enjoy them swimming around. Until next time, you little beauties, we'll see you later.
So